This goes into a suitcase so easy, I don't know where to start. Let's talk softboxes. Oh boy, I don't do anything small. I go a little crazy when I do testing, but that's good for you because I spend the money so you don't have to. I do insane amount of, I'm like obsessed with testing. You thought I had a lot of audio equipment. Wait till you see my softbox collection. Oh my God. Or my lighting stuff. So today we are going to do, I did an epic softbox video 7 years ago. I'll put the link down below for that. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. So I guess this would be part 2. This would be the next epic softbox and lighting video. And we're going on a really major vacation to Bora Bora, halfway around the world. Super expensive. Normally, if I was going to Hawaii, I would be tinkering with little things like this little AD200 here, and I'd, take little unimportant, mess with little lights. But I'm going to a really important once-in-a-lifetime place, super expensive, and I gotta take probably my 600s because I don't know how far away the lights are going to be and what situations I'm going to be in. And it's really important, and I need a massive amount of light, so I'm going to take my 600s for sure, 2 of those, which is really heavy. But I got to keep everything as small and lightweight as possible, but I want to have soft lighting if needed. So I was testing all these different situations. What if I used a bunch of AD200s or a bunch of 300s or 600s? I went through every possible combination possible that I could think of between the lights and the modifiers and everything. The one that I keep ending using the most dependable is this. It's a 600 with a little reflector. And you'd be amazed how most of my pictures are made with this. The lighting is pretty darn good. This is something that is really portable because there's no big giant softbox here, and it puts out a good amount of light, and it's actually pretty soft light, and it's powerful. This is about as practical and portable as you can get, as having a light with a reflector, and that's it. Maybe a diffuser on the front, and you can carry it around. It won't blow over in the wind. That's the thing about softboxes. You got a big softbox, it's going to blow over in the wind unless you have somebody holding it or you put a heavy rock on the bottom or something like that. Anyway, look at the floor. Look at all the testing I've done. Look at all these papers. It just goes on and on and on. This is insane, the amount of testing that I've done recently here. And I'm just going to run through the different softboxes and I guess give you the basics of lighting and softboxes. So what I'm trying to do here is, here's my suitcase, one of them, and my goal is to fit the modifiers into one of my suitcases without having to take a long lighting bag. Because I don't know if you've seen people's luggage is ending up in the wrong cities around the world. So I want to be able to, I'm going to take all my camera and actual lights with me in carry-ons. And then this is going to go into the suitcases. I don't want any special sized long bags or anything. If I could fit a softbox into my suitcase, that would be the best. This is the most bulkiest, irritating part of the rod system, and I used to hate the rods. I'm starting to love them again. I'm going to get back into that in a minute here, but this is the part that is the most bulky, cumbersome. I did my research on these too. I wanted to see if I could find smaller, more lightweight versions of these big clunky things. So here we are at the Marcus Speed Ring Testing Facility. I got so many speed rings here, and by the way, most of these are like this size and weight, and that's close to a pound. They're about 14 ounces each. And I wanted to see if I can get smaller, more lightweight ones. And by the way, these speed rings are 2 parts. They are generally the outer ring where the rods go in, and then you've got your mount, which goes in here. And if you don't use Bowens mount, you can get other mounts that actually go in here, depending on the type of light you have. So be aware that this is 2 parts. The first one I did is I got one of these ones here where it has holes in it. I started cutting it apart because I only use 4-cornered rod softboxes. I only kept the 4 that I needed, and everything else is cut away. So this one ended up going from 14 ounces down to 10.2 ounces. That's pretty good. That's quite a bit of weight. So anyway, but I thought I could do better than that. And then there's this one by Lumiere, which is kind of like the similar thing that I was trying to do. This is heavier metal though than this is. This is more lightweight aluminum. And you've got these extra knobs in here for the octa, which you have to saw off. So this is just a lot of work. And then you also need the inner ring. So this one is too heavy. The Godox ones, these are the heaviest ones, the ones that come with the softboxes. So they're about 14 ounces. Then this one here, which I got online, is 12.8 ounces. And then I got another one online from Amazon. This one is 10.9 ounces. This is $19, so this is pretty cheap. If anything else, you could at least get this. I thought I hit a jackpot with this one because it has these things that the rods go in, and I took 4 of them out. I took 4 of these things off, so I only have 4 left because I only want 4. So I thought, hey, this is a one-piece thing. It's small, it's lightweight, and this thing only weighs 8 ounces. So I got it down to 8 ounces. And then I spray painted it silver so the light will bounce around on it inside the box. The only thing is, these little holes here, they're kind of small. The rods will not fit in there with the tip on it, but the actual rod will. So you can pry these silver things off with pliers and stick the rods in. The only problem with this one is it's too small. You actually need the radius of the standard ring. Otherwise, the rods are going to be kind of floppy and not tight and everything. So I'm still going to experiment with this one. But the best one of all is this one here. This is by Chimera. It's an aluminum ring, which doesn't weigh much, and it's got this really hard, really high quality plastic around the outside. This thing weighs 9.4 ounces. So I got it from a pound down to 9.4 ounces. It only has the 4 holes, which is what I want. I don't need the extra holes. So this is the one that I ended up liking the most. It's $66, but for me, weight and size is more important than money because when I travel, I want the most lightweight, easy to use things. So for me, this is totally worth it. This thing is only 5 ounces. This is the most lightweight speed ring ever. I think this is an old Dynalite universal speed ring. It's plastic. It's for round things. And then you have these screws that you tighten in on it. So it's really good for like an AD 300. You put it on there and then you tighten the screws. Each corner has a hole for a rod. So this is obviously for square and rectangular softboxes, but this is a lot lighter and easier to use than a speed ring, which is a lot heavier. This is like 4 times the weight. These rods fit perfectly in the holes. So here I have a Godox AD300 with a 24 by 24 inch softbox. If you have a Stella, these are LED lights. Here it is with a Stella. Now, of course, I'm going to spray paint that silver so it wouldn't be black, but this thing works great. I could take one of these low profile glow speed rings and just attach it to this, take the screws out because I won't need the screws, and then I have a Bowens mount. Look how small this is, 5 ounces. But the one that is ready to go is this one here by Chimera. I'll put the links down below. What I still want to try is get one of these really lightweight aluminum Bowens mount inner rings, and then spot weld little aluminum tube pieces on here, 4 of them. And then this would be really lightweight. I mean, this is only like 3 ounces. The S brackets that everyone talks about, these things are heavy and clunky. The original one weighs 15 ounces. The newer one weighs a pound, 4 ounces because it has different removable parts. It's more heavy duty. This is a considerable amount of weight. The only difference is that the S2 bracket has this removable parts. You put round things in here like the AD300. This one is more for speed lights. Now I'm going to show you a bunch of pictures throughout this video so you can see the difference between what these modifiers do. But please keep in mind when you see it that I told Kara not to glam up and put a lot of makeup on and be attractive because I want you to see the difference of which modifiers create the most flattering lighting. So please keep that in mind. Where do I start? Okay, well the smallest ones for portability are the collapsible umbrellas. Everybody thinks you need to have this white diffusion that you shoot through to have soft lighting. You don't. People think that, well, if you're using silver umbrellas, that you're going to get shiny highlights on the face. Not necessarily. Look at these pictures. These are taken with the ProMaster 40-inch silver umbrella. And this is taken with a Westcott silver umbrella. And check this out. Here we have 2 silver umbrellas, one on each side. Look how amazing this looks. This is not a softbox. This is 2 very portable silver umbrellas, which are super lightweight, super small when close
closed, and super easy and fast to set up. So these pictures are made with 2 Westcott collapsible umbrellas, which, by the way, collapse down to 11 inches. You can almost have them in your pocket. And here's some pictures made with 2 ProMaster silver umbrellas. It really adds some punch to the image without having any harsh shadows. And this is a trick you can do with any modifier. Putting one on each side gives you a real flattering glamour lighting.
Look how shiny, big and shiny that is. I think that's a 43 inch. I like ProMaster. This one here is a collapsible. In other words, it goes down, it folds into a very tiny little thing. And then they have these ones, you know, normal umbrellas, which don't. They still kind of fit, you put them diagonally, they still fit in your suitcase. And they don't weigh a lot, and they don't take up a lot of space. So umbrellas are great because they take up so little space. So you got your silver. Here's one with pebbled texture on it that breaks up the light a little bit more, diffuses it. And put links to everything. This is by impact. Here's another ProMaster. This is white. Now, you'd think white would be a softer light. It is. I don't like this as my key light. It makes it look kind of bland and boring, but it is good for a fill light. So you could have a harder light on this side, maybe even a silver umbrella. And then you can have a white umbrella on this side with a light aiming at the umbrella. Okay, so we have the white, the silver and the white. But then you also have these things, the translucent white umbrellas. Now these things are super lightweight. Now you see a lot of people using these. I say this is for indoors. Why? Well, when you put a light into this thing, half the light goes through this and you get diffused light coming out here, just like a softbox, but it's open back here. So a lot of it, half of it bounces back. Now that's good for indoor portrait photography because you want the softest light possible. So you have soft light coming through here, and then the light bouncing back off of this bounces off the walls and everything else. Now, if you have white walls, that's great. If you have green walls, that's not going to be good. But this is a good way to get really soft light. But for outdoors, I don't suggest using these because you're going to cut your power of your flash in half because only half of it's going to come through here onto the person's face, and the other half is just going to go and try to light up the sky, which is a complete waste. I got kind of excited when I saw this thing. This is by Savage. What this is you have a silver umbrella like this, and then there's a white thing, a diffuser, over the front of it, and you stick your light right here, and then this goes over the light. And so this, to me, was really exciting. This is another version of this right here, which I like. This is by Westcott. This is a big one. Actually, this one here is the one I've been using. I've been using this one forever. This is the best, softest light I can think of, I can find that's really portable. Look how big this thing is. This is huge. And look how small. I mean, it's long, but look at this. Look how small this is. I mean, you could, it's just an umbrella and it weighs nothing and it's huge. A normal softbox like this has a Bowens mount, and when you collapse it, you've got this big thing here which takes up a lot of space in your bag. So this is a lot bulkier because of the Bowens mount end here than this thing, which doesn't. By the way, most of the new softboxes have fiberglass rods instead of metal rods. It's a lot lighter. So don't worry if it has fiberglass. It's not cheap plastic. This is actually the new thing, is fiberglass rods. It makes it a lot lighter. This one by Westcott, it's like weighs almost nothing. It's like a piece of paper. This is a Godox. It's a little more heavy duty. Anyway, so what happens is, you see the zipper here? You put the light pole up through here, and then the light is right here aiming at the silver. And then the light bounces off the silver, this big surface, and then back through this diffusion. This is amazing soft light, and nothing gets wasted because the light's bouncing around in there, and the only way it has to come out is through here. But you can also use this thing as a silver umbrella if you want, because all the light, even though the light's aiming away from the person, it's all going to bounce back at the person.
And this is 120 centimeters. This is huge. And for a huge, giant source like this to break down into something this small is awesome. The 80 centimeter comes in a bag this size, which is smaller than this. And it opens up into this, something this big. So here's an 80 centimeter, and this is 120 centimeter. I don't like the 80s as much because if I'm using an 8600, a big giant flash, I would rather use big thing like this to get softer light. Otherwise, I might as well just use the 7-inch reflector. That's why I got excited about this thing, because it's got a silver umbrella in there and it's got the white thing already attached. You don't even have to take it off. It's all ready to go. And then it collapses into a small umbrella. Great concept. I know there's other brands that have this, but this is by Savage. It's a cheaper company. And I thought, gee, this thing is great. It's got everything I need. It's got the white diffuser. It's portable. It's everything. But when the light comes through this white fabric, it turns really, really bluish. It's just so blue, I can't even use it. So that bummed me out, but life goes on. The downside is the light is in there, and the lights get hot. And if you're in the tropics or somewhere really hot, all that heat, when it's flashing, it's getting hot in there, the heat has nowhere to go. It collects in here, and your poor light is toasting itself in here. That's what I don't like about it. I still use these things because they're so portable and lightweight, and they give out good light. So that's great. But one of the reasons I was trying all these different softboxes is because I wanted to see, the thing about one of these kind where the light is sticking on the outside, the heat coming off the light gets to go into the air and dissipate and not collect inside here and bake the thing. So I was trying to find softboxes that have the light outside of the softbox, but the softbox still collapses into something really small. All right, so let's get into the world of actual normal, what people think of as softboxes. So here's a normal softbox. Obviously, the general rule is the bigger the softbox is, the softer the light is. The problem is, the bigger it is, the more weaker the light is. Let's say you have a light on here. It doesn't matter what kind of light it is. A softbox like this is going to be brighter than a softbox like this because the light has more stuff to go through. So you're getting half the power from a big one than you do a little one. So that's why you need a really powerful flash for this one. Anything this big, I always say, especially if you're doing outdoors, use the 600s. If you use the 200s, then maybe you can get away with something like this, like a 26-inch or tops a 30-inch like this at the very most. But for the big stuff like this, use the 600. That's just, otherwise you might as well not even use a softbox. It's just ridiculous to try to get a decent amount of light outside in bright sunlight. Now, let's talk about the shapes of these things. Oh, and by the way, a lot of these have all softboxes come with what's called an inner diffuser, like this, and an outer diffuser. I just have this in here because I was testing inner and outer. And then the reason for this is it starts breaking up the light before it even hits the outer diffuser, so you get a lot softer light. That's what they say. Personally, I don't really see hardly any difference between having two diffusers in one. It is so minimal, and having two diffusers cuts your light dramatically. So this inner diffuser eats up so much light that I find when I'm outside and I'm getting in the real world situation, I always rip out the inner one and only leave the outer one. It looks just as good. You barely see the difference, and you get a lot more light out of it. The best lighting I ever got from a softbox was with this thing, where you have the light inside aiming at the silver, pointing back out. There's no inner diffuser. You could say, well, the fact that it's bouncing off of something makes that a diffusion source first. Yeah, that's true. But it's silver. So anyway, so the best lighting that I ever have, if you want cheap and lightweight, I'll just get to the point. It's one of these ones where you have the light inside the thing and it bounces back and has the white diffuser over it. My favorite one is the Godox 120 centimeter, which is huge. It's like over 4 feet wide with the white thing over it. It breaks down into something really small and lightweight. great for portability, lightweight, and it's cheap. They don't cost much. These kind cost 3 to 4 times more than the umbrella kind. The bulkier something is, the more I hate it. I like things that are really flat, low profile. I hate stuff like this. This is ridiculous. I mean, look at it. If you have a softbox, I mean, a light right here holding this, it's got all this weight and it's pulling down on it. It might break the light or make it fall over. I like low profile stuff like this. This is a 36 inch. 36 inch meaning the distance from one end to the other. This is a 34 inch. It looks a lot smaller, but this is almost the same size here as this one. So why is this one low profile and this one is high profile? Well, this is what's called a parabolic. What this does is it focuses the light more into a beam. So this is a directional light. You can actually focus a beam of light 36 inches wide at the person. Something like this, that's shallow, which I like for practicality, it makes light go everywhere in all directions. If you have a white diffuser over the front of it, all this parabolic length is useless because really, think about it, it all comes down to the light hitting the white surface. And once it hits the white surface, it's going to diffuse. So if you're using the front diffuser, the more shallow, the better. Same job. It does the exact same job. The only thing that this is good for is to use it as a focusing beam with no white thing on the front and just using the silver reflector, and you're focusing a beam of light on the person. A lot of professional photographers do this, but I hate these things. I never use them. I'm going to give this one away. I personally like the flat ones like this. They're not as heavy. Look at how big the surface area is. This is huge, but there's not a lot of space this way, which I love. I mean, it's just easier to hold. You can tell it's not as heavy as this thing. This thing puts so much weight on the light. Now, this one is a little bit big for me for taking on location. I like things, this is a little bit too small. These things I found a little too small. When the things get too small, then you start getting more like a shiny specular highlights on the face and things. Unless you're right up close to somebody, or if you have two of them, one from each side, then the little 26s are fine. But the best size I find is this size here. This is a Cheetah QSB 34. I covered this in my original video. There's right now, it has a plate in there for, you can use it as a beauty dish. So you have the silver, it'll hit this, not create a hot spot. And so if you want the most amount of light coming out of your light, use this. Silver with a plate on it. This is called a beauty dish setup. You get a lot more light this way than if you have the white going on the front. Anytime you put the white diffuser over the front, you're going to cut your light pretty dramatically. It's softer, but I'm starting to really like the lighting from this setup. Here's an example with just one of them, and here's two of them, one on each side. When you have the open silver like this, you can actually step back a lot further and get a lot of powerful, because the light is bouncing directly onto the person. You can step back a lot further this way than if you were doing this. If you had a white thing on the front, then you have to get closer to the person. This is what it looks like with the white diffuser on the front. This is a really good softbox. This is a Cheetah QSB 34, and this is just one light. And here I have one on each side, so this is two of them. Really, really nice look. Cheetahs, in my opinion, are the best made softboxes. Really heavy duty. Okay, you got the round ones here, and then you got square and rectangular ones here. So there's the old school kind. This is the big Godox 32 by 48, basically 3 feet by 4 feet. It's got an inner diffuser if you want it. Now this is a rod system. This is where you have to get rods and stick them into a plate here, which takes a little longer than using something like this. This is a newer one by Glow. And that's how fast it is. The benefit of this is that breaks down into something really flat. It doesn't take up a lot of space. This travels a lot easier than something like this. This thing, it's just one piece. You don't take anything apart. It's got the big wide thing, which is 90 degrees to the length of this. So this is always going to be a big bulky thing on the end of this. That thing is flat. But the most important thing is to travel as compact as possible. And if you have a few minutes to assemble something on location, then I suggest something like this. If your most important thing is, I have a lot of room to carry things while I travel, but I want the fastest setup time, then you do one of these things. Here's an example of pictures taken with the big giant 3 foot by 4 foot. Here's a single one, pretty damn soft. And here's 2 of them. Now you got perfection. It looks great. It really hides wrinkles in older people, which is what we're trying to do. Actually, the fastest setup of anything is an umbrella. You just go like this and you're ready to go. And the cool thing about an umbrella is it doesn't matter what kind of light you use, because not all lights have a Bowens mount on the front. So you can put any kind of light on this, aim it at the umbrella, and you're ready to go. And the Bowens mount is big and bulky and all that. So the cool thing about an umbrella is it doesn't matter what kind of mount you're like. You can have like the weirdest brand in the world. Just use an umbrella. The most fun, feel-good one that I have is actually this one here. Look at the little bag that it comes in. It's just so small. It's like, this is nothing. Look how small this is. This is a softbox, and it gets into something this size. It's 2 feet by 2 feet, and it's so small, it's so lightweight, and I can assemble this in like a minute. I'll show you in a second here. So this is the starting point, and if you have 2 of them, one on each side, not bad. I mean, this is a little tiny softbox, just the 24 by 24 on each side. 60 by 60 centimeters, really small, but you get some good lighting with it because I have 2 of them. All right, so this is a starting point, is one of these. And then we have this one here. This is 2 feet by 3 feet. That's 60 by 90 centimeters. And then this one is 70 by 100. This is even bigger. Now, another thing I wanted to point out real quick is notice the edge of this thing. See how the edge, the diffusion wraps around the very corner of that? I don't even think they make these anymore, but I like this a lot more than this kind, where they have the diffusion on the inside and you're actually eating up like several inches of the diffusion. It should go from edge to edge. But look at how much space you're wasting. Yeah, I know the extra Velcro is to put a grid on it, but I never use grids. I would much rather have one of these. And it's really cool because they have little Velcro tabs here that actually secure it so the wind won't blow it off. I mean, people think it might blow off. It doesn't. It's got Velcro holding it together. I just ordered another one of these at B&H, and I got this. It's the exact same softbox, but look, it's so frustrating because I want the biggest surface area possible of diffusion, which is why I like this one here. Okay, so we got the really big one. Then we have the 70 by 100. Then we have the 2 feet by 3 feet, and then we have the 2 feet by 2 feet. So here's the different sizes. I'm kind of leaning towards these two here because you got, it's halfway between the big and the small. It's really portable. This one here breaks into a bag this size. This contains the entire softbox. It looks like there's nothing in here, but you got your ring in here, your diffuser, the rods, everything. And look how flat that is. This goes into a suitcase. So easy. Both of these fit into that bag. It is a rod system, so it is a little longer to set up, but it doesn't take that long. So let's set one up here real quick. The thing that takes the longest is putting the rods in the plastic. But what I do, and I made a video about this, once I put the rods in here, I leave them in here, and what I do, instead of doing this every time I'm in location, I actually put a little hot glue inside the tip of this thing. So once the rod goes in there, it's permanent. It's glued in there, and it's just part of the softbox, ready to go. And the reason I like the 4-cornered ones, the rectangle or the square versus the octa, is you've only got 4 rods. All right, so I got my speed ring. This is ready to go. Let's time and see how fast we could do this. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put the Velcro together. Bam. What did that take? 10 seconds? It's easy. This is why I like the 4-cornered softboxes, so you don't have to put 8 rods in there. But look how quick that goes. It's not that big of a deal. I'm getting back to liking these things again because they travel so flat. And the most portable modifier ball is the 7-inch reflector for the 8600 and the 4.5-inch reflector for the 8200. And the smallest softbox for the 8200 is this thing here, which is the 17-inch. And you can also use it as a beauty dish by having a silver plate on the inside there. And this thing breaks into something so small, it's ridiculous. Look at this. I mean, world's smallest softbox. This is great. Oh, and they have this other one here, this thing here. If your size limited to, if you'd rather have something this size rather than this thing. So here's two options. You got, these softboxes are the same size. They're 2 feet by 2 feet roughly. This one is flat but longer. This is really, really flat. And this one is thicker but shorter. And this is it's called a speedlight softbox. And what it is it really is compact. I like it because it's so compact. Look at this. It just pops open, ready to go. I featured this in my AD200 video. And then this is your Godox, your Bowens mount that goes in the back. You just slip it in these tabs here, like this, and you're ready to go. It just kind of holds in place. Now, the thing I don't like about this is, this isn't really high tech. This droops a little bit, so the front of this droops down a little bit, but it works really good as a softbox. It's 24 by 24 inches, and here's some pictures that I took with it. Really easy to use, really practical, and it doesn't cost much. Look at this. Look how small this breaks down to. There, I just opened it, set it up, and then closed it, put it away into something this small. And it has an inner and outer diffuser. Again, I never use the inner diffuser. For some reason, I don't use this one that much. I like to use this one more because it's really flat. I'd rather have flat things than bulky things. These ones here, I was most excited about because this is the perfect size. It's low profile. It's 33 inches. This is a really nice size, really lightweight. This is made for the AD300. This is the Godox version. I like this one also. I love these, but they have this weird little tiny mini Bowens Godox mount. So it only works with the AD300 and 400, and which I'm not going to use because I don't like those lights, which I already mentioned in other videos. So I'm going to give these ones away. The closest thing is this one here. It's a 36-inch easy lock. Yeah, by the way, if you're wondering what these tabs are, I weigh these things. I weigh everything, 2 pounds, 2.4 ounces. So this is, I just want to, I mean, this is a science. It's an art for me. But I like this one. This is one of my favorite softboxes. It's an easy glow, easy lock, 36-inch octa quick softbox. It's really easy and quick. So here I have it set up as a beauty dish light, but you don't need to do that. So you can use it as that. You get more light from the silver beauty dish. And if you want really soft, you use the white diffuser, and it breaks down really quickly into something this size. It has the Velcro strap on it. So anyway, this is how small it gets. So this is one of the ones that's in the running for me. All right, so which ones do I like the most? I'm not going to go through every single softbox. That'll take a week. But for me, the criteria in this particular situation is what's the most portable that I can fit in a suitcase that's lightweight, small, pretty quick to set up. But my main thing is small and lightweight. That's it. So here's what, actually, these are the ones that I haven't really totally decided yet, but here's the ones that I'm coming down to. Believe it or not, I'm actually considering this little guy here, 2 of these, 1 on each side. Little 2 by 2. I love this little thing. It's so lightweight, it's small, and it breaks into something this small. This is the little bag that it comes in. It's so portable. That's why I love it. Either that or one of these. This is a 2 foot by 3 foot, and this is a little bigger than that. So it's one of these, and of course I use them on each side. I mean, the big one, obviously, you get the best light, but these two are kind of in between the big and the small, so I might go with these. So it's between these ones here and this one here. I really like this one. This one is a Glow Octa 36, and It assembles to that size, and it produces really nice light. Look at this. This is one softbox with only the outer diffuser, no inner diffuser, and it's just a single softbox. This thing is so good you don't even need the inner diffuser. Here it is with two lights. Here I have one softbox on each side with only the outer diffuser. Now let's take the outer diffuser off and use it as a shiny silver reflector. Now most people think that you're going to get these shiny highlights all over the face. Look at this. You don't. This is what it looks like with just one. It looks great. And now let's add a second one in. Now it looks even more fantastic. This is two easy 36s, just a silver reflector with a silver plate in the middle. This is what it breaks down to, and it fits in my suitcase. So here's the other one that I like. That is the umbrella. This is my fallback here, is the umbrella. That's the smallest thing of all. It's big when it's open and it's small when it's shut down. The problem with these is the wind. I mean, it's a big sail. It will just blow away in the sail, and it's kind of fragile and flimsy because it has this double hinged thing as opposed to something like this, which is a lot more rugged. But when this breaks down, this is how small it gets. It's long. Look at the size difference. I'm going to take a couple of these in my carry-on baggage in case the large modifiers and the check baggage get lost. One thing about silver reflectors, though, is if the model has her back to the sun, that it can be reflecting sunlight into the model's face. This is what I've used more places than anywhere else around the world because look how small it becomes when it's long and thin, but it doesn't take up a lot of space. And when you open it up, look how big it is. This thing is huge. This is a 120 centimeter Godox. It weighs nothing because there's no speed plate, plate back here, no metal rods. Really, really lightweight. Out of all of them, Cheetah makes the best softboxes. It's the most rugged, heavy duty, well made. I mean, nothing beats a Cheetah, in my opinion, for the quality. The problem is the quality is so good that it weighs a little more. So heavy duty that it weighs more. So if I was driving on a road trip, I would take a Cheetah. But, yeah, it's a QSB 34. If I was going on a road trip, I'd take the Cheetah. But if I'm going on an airplane, when every ounce counts, then I would use like the Glow Easy Lock 36. What's important to me is how small they break down to for traveling. Check this out. This one's obviously a lot smaller than this one. It's almost half size. Here is the bag that this one comes in. And this is the bag that this one comes in. This one, the bags are almost the exact same size. So this big giant thing breaks down to a bag size that's almost the same size as this. So big difference from that down to that. This is one of my favorites. It's really lightweight. It doesn't, even this thing doesn't weigh much at all. It's very lightweight. And look how small the softbox is. Look at that tiny little thing. And check this out. This is really, it's really ingenious how they did this. They have these little clamps here that you just slip into these slots. You see that? The slot right there? That just slips into there, and slips into there. And there's only 4 of them. And then you use your thumb and you click them over like that. And bam, you're done. You've got yourself a softbox. And it's really shiny inside. And it doesn't weigh anything. This is really, really lightweight. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then, of course, you put your diffusion in that. And I like this one a lot because it's so lightweight. A lot of times these softboxes, they're kind of heavy and they put a lot of load on the light. Like it makes it just wants to go like that. So this thing doesn't weigh anything and it's nice and big. It's a 32 by 32 Glow Grand Box 4 Pro. It produces a silky smooth light that I just love. Look at this. This is just a single light and it just wraps around and makes this really nice silky smooth look. And here's what it looks like with 2 lights, one on each side. And I don't even have the double diffusion in any of these. This is just the outer diffusion. I highly recommend this one. The only thing that I don't like about it is that there's a little bit of a gap here where light can come through. Hello, hey, I'm free. But it's the only thing. But if you pull it down, maybe you can do it. But I really like the light of this, the look of this, so I might actually take this one. This is like the perfect size between a really big one and like an 80 centimeter, which is smaller. And it has an inner diffuser also, which I never use, but I highly, now check this out. Now, let's say you're done. This is how it breaks down. You just click, 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 and then you pull these things off the ring. There, you're done. Bam. Look at that. It's not like one of these things where this is permanently attached like that. I highly recommend this one. Glow Grand Box 32. Here's an example of a old school. This is a 30-inch. How big that is compared to this. This is 40 inches. Then there's the metal beauty dish, which I don't like because the shadows are too harsh. It's just not flattering for people our age. It gives you kind of a noir 1940s detective novel kind of look, which is good, I guess, for older men or younger 20-year-old girls. But for people like us, this, even with the white, it's just not flattering enough. But it's good for when you're out in the wind because it's solid. It's, you know, it's not going to blow over like a softbox does. The most important thing of all is this thing here. You can't always use a softbox because there's wind, and if you got to work fast because you don't have permits and stuff. Nothing beats a reflector. Nothing puts out more light than a reflector can, like this. Softboxes eat up a lot of light. This thing doesn't. So if you need maximum amount of light, use this. You actually get really good lighting with this thing. Here's an example of the lighting that you can get using this thing. It looks actually really good. This is just a single light. I take more pictures without softboxes than I do with. If I'm calm and I have time and like to experiment, then I might use a softbox. But for when I'm run and gun and we're on the go and it's just really hot and sticky and windy or whatever, this is it. This is my lighting kit right here. And I have two of them. If I could only take one thing, it would be this for sure. Anyway, so that's my little softbox thing. I hope you got something out of it. I love to tinker. I love to experiment. I like to test stuff and share it with you. I spend the money so you don't have to. And I share it with you. And then the stuff that even better, the stuff that I don't use or that I, don't need, I give it away. And you get the benefit from that too. So everybody wins. I'm happy playing around and testing, and you're happy because you get to get some of this stuff. So I don't know just yet which ones I'm going to keep and which ones I'm going to give away, but by the time I finish the video and have it edited, I'm sure I will have it figured out. So check out marcuspicks.giveawayenter.com. That'll have a list of things I'm giving away. You can enter there. That's marcuspicks.giveawayenter.com. There's 2 dots and Marcus is with a K. And that's where you'll find the ones that I personally don't want that you can have to share the joy of softboxes. marcuspicks.giveawayenter.com. So anyway, I hope you got something out of it, and who knows, next week I might do something else that gives you some value of some kind. Educational, entertainment. Oh, wait a minute, next week I'm going on an airplane to the Seychelles and then Bora Bora. That's why I'm doing all this.